I used to suck on my mommy's titty when I was friggin' 6 months old. I don't do that anymore. What am I
Right.
doing right
Yeah.
now? Where am I going then? Who cares about then?
You have functionally proved that proof of concept, right? And you've made this Yelp for heroes. And you mentioned 40,000 veteran nonprofits. 40,000. That's a huge amount. And I know that you've done like a lot of AI automation. So we know that trust is currency, right? And you've kind of full looped that by allowing you to give that honest feedback. But how do you vet them before they get entered into your Vetivize system? How do you ensure that a vet that is on your platform isn't walking into a scam or a waste of their time by maybe not being linked up with the right resource that they actually need?
Yeah, so that all comes into our automation workflow. Every veteran that uses our platform has access to their own, what we call a Vetivize Vault. That vault is a HIPAA compliant cloud-based storage device that you have access to and only you. Nobody at Vetivize has access to it. Your information is safe and secure. It's encrypted. Nobody can get access to it except you. Okay. Me, as the CEO and founder of Vetivize, I can't there's no back door that I can be like, oh, Brent's using Vetivize. Let me look into his medical records. I can't do it. Like we made it, like I said, I made it for me and my family. You just so happen to be my family, right? We're all part of the veteran family. There's only 19 million of us. There's 340 or 350 million people in the US. There's only 19 million veterans. That's
It's
not a lot.
incredible.
Plus about anywhere from 1.9 to 2.4 million active duty members. It's not a whole lot of us, right? We
Mhm.
deserve to be treated with honor, integrity, and security. So Vetivize is treating us the way we deserve to be treated. We don't want any security spillages. So like I made this so like I can use Vetivize. I can trust that my social security number, whatever number is associated to me, is saved in my Vetivize vault and it's safe and secure. You know what I mean? I don't want
That's
that
awesome.
to ever be shared. So like there's a question that I get sometimes from employers or employees that have their Vetivize program started by their employer. And that question is, well, is my employer going to see any of my, medical records or are they going to see anything that I talk about in Vetivize? Nope. Your employer just did something right. They saw you as a veteran employee. They see the value you bring to the business and they're trying to do something special for you. Okay. So they started a Vetivize program. That employer is just doing this out of the kindness of their heart. Now, I will share there is some potential financial upside for an employer to start a Vetivize program. This is what I mean. Veterans that engage in the Vetivize process, on average, increase their annual income by the VA by $14,400 per year, tax free. So
Wow.
you're going to tell me that I don't have to pay for this. I just have to use it. And statistically, I'm going to increase my income annually $14,400 per year. Sign me the fuck up, right? Like, where's the
Yeah.
downside? There is no downside. I promise, man. I swear, I'm just doing this out of the kindness of my heart. It is a for profit institution. We will not make a single dollar off of the veteran community. This is where, like I said, we partner with nonprofits that pay for veterans to have access to Vetivize. We partner with for profit institutions for veterans to have access to Vetivize from the employee model. Now, from an employer's perspective, they want their employees, their veteran employees, to engage in the VA. On average, businesses set aside anywhere from $13,000 to $15,000 per year per employee to cover down on benefits costs, everything from premium coverages, healthcare premium coverages, to retirement plan matching, to education benefits, everything in between, right? They have all these different HR programs. If a veteran engages in Vetivize, and let's say they get to 100% total and permanent disability, meaning that they can still work, they can still maintain employment, but they just now are rated at the top tier in the VA because they've just been like probably white knuckling it for a number of years, right? So now
Hmm.
that veteran is going to get a choice. do I, as the employee, still pay these monthly premiums and then have my employer pay whatever matching monthly premiums for me to have access to this private healthcare insurance? Or do I just save that money and then use the VA as my healthcare system? And I'm going to have a good quality experience at the VA. I'm
Mhm.
going to do that, right? I'm going to save money. Not only am I going to get more money as a result of Vetivize, I'm also going to be able to keep more of the money that I'm already rightly earning from my employer because now I'm going to use my VA benefits to engage in healthcare. Now, the employer, what they now have the opportunity to do is like, well, we don't have to set that $13,000 to $15,000 a year aside anymore for these employees. Not all of them, so not every veteran employee is going to get 100% total and permanent disability, but a certain percentage of them will. And if a certain percentage of them do, then the program essentially not only pays for itself, but it essentially pays or it saves the business tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars, or if not millions of dollars, depending on how large the veteran employee base is. That's number one. Number two, as a veteran engages in these federal benefits, well, now they're going to be made aware of all these other benefits are directly applicable to them. State funded education benefits for not just them, but their family as well. So if their kids are going off to college, now their kids can go to college maybe at a discount, maybe for free, depending on what state they're at. The employer, generally speaking, has these education benefits they set aside. The employer doesn't have to set that aside anymore. Saving money, saving money, saving money. So yeah, that's how it works.
Dude, yeah, I love it. It's awesome. It's helping the system function the way that it was designed to function, fill those little holes in the funnel where people can fall through, not be able to get connected to the right benefits, and saving people money all around the board, putting more money in people's pockets who earned it and deserve it. That's freaking awesome. So I know that the skills for being the CEO and founder of a tech company and a tech platform aren't necessarily the skills that you embrace and you learned and you trained to in the SEAL teams. So you decided to build this tech platform. It's a different kind of Hell Week. You know, we had Hell Week, we had Hydro Hell Week, we had all these little like Hell Weeks that just kept going on that they don't tell you about, and then you just find yourselves in them. So, was there a moment when you were building Vetivize that you hit a wall and you just thought, I don't know if we can pull this off? And if you did find that point, what did you end up doing to ultimately push through?
Every damn day. Listen, dude, it's wild. So entrepreneurship, it's never easy. It's not supposed to be easy. You work for yourself and you're going to work as hard as you want to work. I remember months ago we were raising money and actually probably like the beginning of this year, I was like, man, it's not working, right? Like we're not resonating with the investor population. Something's just not working. It's easy to quit. We did a good job, right? Let's just call it. Nope. Now we got to keep going. We got to keep going. Got to keep going. It's not a quit. You just don't quit. You just keep figuring out what's the problem. How do I solve it? What's the problem? How do I solve it? The good news is good and bad news, right? Good news is there are fires everywhere. And when there are fires everywhere, piss puts out quite a few of those fires that are real close to you, right? So
Yeah,
you don't really
yeah.
have to work really hard to think about these problems and how to solve them. It's really like super simple. It's like, all right, what's the problem? Solve it. What's the problem? Solve it. We got it. We can do this. We can do this. I think with more seasoned businesses, they're so refined, right? Like just think about Amazon, for instance. I worked for Amazon right as I got out of the Navy. Amazon's been around for, geez, what, 30, 40 years? 30 plus years, maybe 35 years. Amazon's been around 30 years, right? They have to seek problems to solve and be very creative with the way that they solve them because they've already had those initial startup problems where every problem was massive, right? They already figured all that shit out. They're a well-oiled machine. Now they're just trying to figure out how do they become more efficient to save more money. So that way the money that they make stretches longer. You know what I mean? That's not where we're at as a startup. Startups are, hey, fires everywhere. Start spitting, start peeing. Something's going to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, man. So I totally dig it. You've done a lot of good things fighting through getting that startup so that people they don't have to feel like they're treading water alone. A lot of what you've said just kind of resonates with me in that if you're out there, you're treading water, you're just trying to keep your head above that water and not go under, not stay under. Remember, action alleviates anxiety. There are tools like Vetivize designed to help you cut through all that noise, all that static that's going on in your life so that you don't have to swim alone. You have a swim buddy, and Vetivize can be that swim buddy for you. I highly encourage you to get on that platform, download it, look into it, use it. Let that be your swim buddy as you move through all of these phases in life he's talked about, not just transitioning from the military, but your first employment after the military, as you move into your different stages of life with family, with retirement benefits, with all of that. Let it do all that hard work for you. You just keep updating it with your quarterly touch bases, right? And let it hold your hand, let it be your swim buddy and get you through it. So, obviously, we've got lots of soldier suicide. We've got lots of veterans organizations that help support that. We're all about reducing that number. We're all about getting help. I believe that one, everything that we're doing right now is changing the status quo and the quality and quantity of mental health care that not just we receive as veterans, but also that gets back out into the community. I believe in a spillover effect. The emergency medicine world, as you know, being a medic with the SEAL teams, evolved so much and got so much better during the war on terrorism, during the global war on terrorism, because of all the incidents of injuries that experience, all the different types of injuries, all the different surgeons and different doctors doing the research, putting in the time, improving and refining. Now what I believe that we're doing, this is a big change that we will see in our lifetime. A lot of people poo-poo on it and say, "Oh, no, it's not gonna happen in our lifetime." No, it will happen. We are doing this. We're changing that status quo, and we are going to spill over all of the good lessons that we learned and that we know about mental health from our veterans into our communities. We're gonna have stronger communities, better support, better mental health, less incidents of addiction, abuse, violence, domestic violence, like, all of that will go down because of the work that you're doing and the work that we're doing. So, with that goal of that deep emotional impact and forward looking vision, so we're pulling back to that big picture. Why does this matter? Like, we were taught early on, hey, never swim alone, always have a shooting buddy, always have a swim buddy. The civilian world, that wasn't like trained into them, that wasn't beat into them. So, how does Vetivize act as that digital swim buddy? And why is community the antidote to the suicide, the depression rates that we've traditionally been seeing in our veteran community?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll answer the second question first. So,
Okay.
this is my opinion. I think the more we serve others, the less we think about ourselves. And I really do think that's at the root source of mental health. How do we think about others more than we think about ourselves? How do we serve others more than we serve ourselves? From the Christian perspective, there are very strong Christian tenets that align to that. Give others more than you can give yourself, work hard for others, be of service to others. This is all things that Jesus taught in the Bible. Oddly enough, it still holds true and serves well to this day. So I think we all get in those, poo poo states, and some of us get deeper and darker than others. And I think when that happens, it's very natural to feel like the woe is me. Nothing's ever like you just keep sinking deeper and deeper and deeper into this hole of self loathing. And then nobody can help me. I'm worthless. I'm helpless. I'm alone. You're never alone, right? Like, get out of that. We all know that the best thing to do in those states of mind is to serve others. Unfortunately, it's the last thing on our mind is to serve others when we feel like we are helpless and hopeless. Who could ever benefit from me helping them out? Who can I help if I can't even help myself? But that's all a lie, man. None of that's true. None of that shit's true. We're all just here to help other people. We're here to help each other out. If you ever do get into those dark places, like I said, I've been there many times before, and they are all rooted, from my personal perspective and my experience, it's always been rooted in selfishness, right? Like, oh, everything sucks. Everything sucks for me. Everything sucks about me. I hate myself. Stop thinking about yourself. Think about others. Be in the service of others. Love others. Then if you can do that, all of a sudden you start feeling better. You know what I mean? And then you can
Yeah.
start exercising a little more, and then you can maybe make better food choices. These incremental steps to be able to crawl out of the poo poo place. But, it's also normal, right? Like, you're supposed to be happy, you're supposed to be sad. You're not supposed to feel forever depressed because that's not normal. But if some depressing shit happens, that's normal. Somebody you love and have loved for a really long time dies. You're not supposed to just ride through that and be like, "Oh, that's awesome. Everything's okay." No, dude, feel sad. That shit's sad. That's normal. You're not going to live there forever. If you get in those places, just ride that wave. I promise you, you'll come out of it the other side as long as you serve others and eat good foods and exercise. But like I said, in those times, that's the last thing you want to do because you don't feel worthy of serving other people. You don't feel worthy. You don't have motivation to go work out. All you want to do is just be lethargic and eat sweet treats and do all that bullshit. But none of that matters. It's just be in the service of others, serve others, serve others, serve others. Meditation is the hardest thing in the world, especially when you're in those deep, dark places. Because, again, I'm just speaking from personal experience here, but it's the best thing for you to do. And it's the hardest, next to most impossible thing to do when you're in those deep, dark places. Because you're like, well, how do I calm my mind? Like, I close my eyes and I just put like noise canceling headphones on, or I just try to sit in the quiet in these states of meditation. And all I think about is bad shit, right? I'm worthless. I'm a piece of shit. Everything sucks. Work through it. Just stick with it. Unfortunately, over a long enough period of time and enough reps, you'll get there to where you're like, oh, that was all just a lie. That's a distraction. Something wants to suck me down. Some people call it the ego. Some people call it Satan, the devil, whatever it is. Something wants to drag you down. Something wants to keep you there in that deep, dark, alone place. Something wants to lie to you and tell you you're alone. But you're never alone. It's impossible to be alone. You're surrounded by people all the time. Be in service of others. Get some hugs. Love on people. Love on them. Like, give them the thing that you want, and I promise you're going to get it in return. I hug people all the time. I'm a hugger because I want
Same.
hugs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And we were medics too, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we kind of had to put into that role a little bit. So maybe that's why we gravitated towards those outlets. So you've been hitting on like so many amazing things. I just want to kind of like touch back into them. So one of the things you're talking about is like the lies, the rumination, and just like those thoughts that race and they just swirl in our head sometimes. And sometimes we can get them to stop, sometimes we can't. What was going on with me when I finally got connected with providers, they're like, dude, you're not even sleeping enough to let your executive functionings that can control thoughts repopulate. Your cognitive
Yeah.
functioning is declining because of TBI, chronic fatigue, chronic sleeplessness, all that. Your brain isn't even resetting enough when it's supposed to be resetting so that you can stop those thoughts, which is very troubling. So if you're going through this, you're hearing this, you're listening to this, like, know that you're not alone. Just like Anthony just said, you're not alone. There's other people who've been through it that are going through it. You're not isolated. You can do the things you can to take control. He mentioned meditation. Another good option is you hear that thought immediately. Your immediate action drill. Hey, you got a click instead of a bang. It is stop that thought. You say, no, that is a fucking lie. That is not the truth. And then you replace it with a statement that is true. And that needs to be your rehearsed repetition, your immediate action drill for that rumination to stop that negative spiral in its tracks and then reset it to spiraling back up. That's our goal every time whenever we start noticing whatever it is that's ticking us into those negative states, those dark black areas, is having that immediate action drill and having it kind of ready to go. So you've been hitting that with a lot of identity. You mentioned identity and mission a lot tonight, and it's just been so great and it's so much value. And another thing that I think a lot of veterans struggle with, especially those who really loved the job, wanted to do the job. So your guys in the special operations community who went through extra crap to get there, right? And it happens to other veterans too, not just the people in that community, but they get stuck in that identity of the Army, of the Navy, of the Trident, of the Green Beret, of whatever it is, of the assaulter, right? So what advice would you give to the guy who feels like his best days are behind him?
Sure, and that's super normal. I think the military does a great job of indoctrinating us and then making us believe the lie that we are our job. You're never going to be your job. You're going to have many jobs, hopefully, until the day you die, and not one of them is going to be you. You're never going to be that myopic, right? Like, you can't just identify with this one aspect of the many complexities of your life. This is something that I've had to, deal with just with my own personal transition. The identity crisis that the veteran community is having is it's going on out loud and it's being demonstrated in the suicide rates. The fact that we're not like actively doing anything to help people become aware of the identity transition, the identity crisis, and then navigate it more effectively and efficiently. That's, I think, where we're at right now. We're right on the cusp, right? So, like, it's another thing that we're attempting to do with Vetivize is it's more part of like the long-term strategic roadmap is how do we get veterans connected to something bigger than themselves so that way they know straight out the gate upon transition, you never were a SEAL, a Green Beret. That's never who you were. That's something you did. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anybody who introduces themselves, hi, I'm an electrician.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
retarded. Like, that doesn't make any
Right.
sense, right? So, like, you
Yeah.
usually say, hi, my name is whatever, or you identify with something more deep and more profound. So, yeah, just getting that awareness of, like you're never going to be your job, never have been, never will be. It's impossible to be your job. And then trying to figure out, well, who am I? Because I never did any. Well, I got a really good friend, one of my best friends. His name is Joel, and he calls it belly button gazing. How the hell did I get here? What is here? Where is here? Like, what's going on right now? So belly button gazing helps me a lot to become more aware of, all right, I'm here. How did I get here? What decisions did I make to get me here? Where do I want to be? How do I get there? What decisions do I need to make in order to get there? How do I hold myself accountable to those decisions? Start creating goals. Ask other people to hold you accountable. If you're trying to stop drinking alcohol, whatever it is, dude, whatever you're trying to do, you got to make sure that you're, setting up systems so that way you can not just hold yourself accountable, but other people can support you in that accountability process. So if you start ruminating too much in the glory days of like, oh, I used to do this, I used to do that. Yeah, I used to suck on my mommy's titty when I was friggin' 6 months old. I don't do that anymore. What am I
Right.
doing
Yeah.
right now? Where am I going then? Who cares about then? Like it's not useful to me anyway. It's not useful to be stuck in that place I used to, or like that real myopic view of I am a blah. Nah, dude, like so many different aspects of me personally, right? Like I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a Christian, I'm a friend, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a helper, I'm a server, I'm a servant, right? So like there's so many different aspects of my identity that if I just get rooted in this little thing of like I'm a SEAL, to me, like some people do that and that's awesome. I commend them for that. I'm not here to judge anybody. I just know that that didn't serve me. It never has and it never will. And I need to be more open minded. And the way I do that is just to open my mind and realize that I cannot be a job. Like I am an entrepreneur right now. It's not my identity. My identity is like I'm the deeply beloved son of the Most High God, and that's who I choose to identify as. And that's it, dude. Like everything else, who cares? I'm gonna be dead soon,
Dude,
you know?
that's so
And
awesome.
when I
I
say
love
soon, like I talked to my wife about this and she's like, you use retarded words sometimes. She doesn't say that. But when I say like I'm gonna be dead soon, the earth has been around for billions, if not trillions of years, right? The universe has been around forever. Maybe at best, I'm gonna get 90 years here. I'm already 41. That's pretty fucking soon in comparison to the infinite time span. So when I say like I'm gonna be dead soon, it's like, yeah, I don't got much time to waste. So I can't be stuck in this like self-centered methodology of thinking where I am a job.
Dude.
That makes
Your
sense.
open-mindedness, your growth mindset is so on point. I just love hearing you talk about it, talking about, "Hey, the reality, today I need to live. I don't need to be stuck up in, like, a victim mindset or an ego-driven, like, oh, I'm the SEAL, I'm this, I'm that," whatever, right? So, you're just bringing so much value and truth here. So, speaking of that growth, kind of on that, you've created this amazing system for veterans. So, 5 years from now, what does this landscape look like for veterans because of what you've done with Vetivize and because Vetivize exists?
Oh, dude, that's so cool. That's so fun to think about.